Okay, hi, I'm back. I'm gonna read the second half. I don't know where I stopped, so I'm just gonna continue off with the paragraph I think I stopped on. So, we all have... Oh, okay, no. Okay, I'm skipped something. Is Tom the father? Danny gripped Tom's hand tighter, and he grimaced slightly, but took the initiative to answer. Yes, I am. I received verification just the other night. The DNA is a match. Chell smiled, but her eyes seemed apologetic. But you and Bill are identical twins. Your DNA is the same. Especially now with pictures circulating the newsstands of Danny with Bill, it's understandable that even though the DNA test came back positive, that doesn't necessarily mean that the twins are yours. Tom's face went blank. His mind seemed to have shut down, and he turned blurry-eyed to his twin, asking him to help. Yes, there are pictures of Danny and myself. That is because I was the one who answered her letter, and I was the only one with enough free time to actually leave the country. So I went and met Danny for the first time, but Tom followed the very next day, and I was the one who was sent to go and bring Danny back from Canada. But I swear to you that the kids are Tom's. Bill spoke clearly, hoping to God that she wouldn't ask if he and Danny had ever done anything. Luckily, she changed the subject. Glad to hear it. Okay, well, actually, we are going to take a commercial break. Ladies and gentlemen, the real story will continue when we can return. A few seconds later, the cameraman signaled they were off the air. Danny instantly rushed off the set. She had to pee, and she had a little trouble finding the ladies' room, but eventually she found one, literally 5 feet from the entrance to the stage. She opened the door and was startled to see Chels in front of the mirror. Chels quickly turned to her and flashed a very genuine smile. Hey, you have no idea how happy I am to have finally met you. She laughed, and as Danny blinked like an owl. I'm sorry that the press has been such a pain to you, but it's business. It makes you that way. It's the business. It makes you that way. I hope you don't hold the questions against me, but hopefully now you won't have to deal with any more of those rumors. That's okay. Danny smiled. That's okay. And thank you. This has been the best press experience by far. But please excuse me, I have to pee. She quickly rushed into one of the stalls, which were actually more like little rooms, since there were actual walls and doors instead of the usually metal partitions. Huh? Big words. Me have no brain bag. When she emerged, Chels was gone, and Danny noticed that she only had a few moments to make it back to stage. When she exited the bathroom, Bill was waiting for her. He smiled softly, then appeared and offered his hand to help her back onto the stage. 5, 4. The stagehand held up his fingers, counting down the air. Time. 3 fingers. 2, 1. Go. Hi, and welcome back. I have Bill and Tom Klitz from Tokyo Hotel with me, and Danny Milton. Danny, now that we have that tough stuff out of the way, can I ask some slightly more personal questions? Chels introduced the segment. Danny was hesitant, but she did not have to answer if the questions got too personal. Sure. Can you tell me what life is like back in Canada? This one totally shocked Danny. She thought that Chels would ask a more personal question. From what I've seen of Germany, it's not much different. Mind you, I have only been here 3 days, been to the airport, the boys' house, and the local shopping district. She laughed slightly and continued. One of the differences is that back in Canada, the majority of people speak English, but also their mother tongue as well. Living near Vancouver, one of the most multilingual cities in the world, I have been exposed to many languages. But honestly, I have no clue when it comes to German, or I can't pronounce that word. So that is what I find the most difficult and different, not being able to speak, let alone understand the language of most of the people I see speak. Danny finished and blushed slightly, seeing as she had gotten slightly off topic. Chell smiled again, and continued with the interview, asking about her family and other such non-personal personal questions, careful not to infringe on Danny's privacy. The rest of the interview went surprisingly well. Their interview lasted a good 15 more minutes, but soon they were rushed off into the exclusive photo shoot. Danny was a little uncomfortable with the poses they asked for, especially the ones with Tom and herself. But Tom didn't seem to mind when he stood behind her, chin resting on her head, hands on her belly, or when he was instructed to sit with Danny on his lap, wrapped in his limbs. The clothing had been picked strategically. Tom was in all black and Danny was in white. The photographer was insisting on keeping Danny framed in the black outline of Tom's, and the background was white. After a while, Bill joined them, and Danny was even more surprised by the poses that were suggested, though not followed. The rest of the day went by in a blur, and it all happened so fast, and Danny was exhausted by the time they were able to leave the studio. They were leaving quickly and ushered to the waiting car. They arrived in the nutritionist's office just in time for Danny's 5 o'clock appointment. She felt like falling asleep in the waiting room, leaning against Tom with her legs in Bill's lap, but she wasn't able to, as she was called in almost immediately. Bill and Tom followed her. And the end. Okay, well, that is actually a lot harder to do out loud when you have a time limit. But anyway, that was for Thea, and I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go get a drink because, for one, I've been singing all day because I've been excited because I am singing all day yesterday because I am now officially 14 years old and 51 minutes. Well, 14 years and 51 minutes old. So, or 57. But anyway, hope you liked it. I'm nervous. My stomach hurts.